Welcome back to Crossroads. The more pressure society puts on having the perfect body, the more women feel they can't measure up, often developing eating disorders as a result.
It's an issue many people are uncomfortable talking about, but we have a guest with us today who's speaking out about this issue and making it kind of a personal mission. Misty Rees works with Selah House in Andersons. Misty, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
And Misty, I understand you're the founder of Selah House, but it kind of grew out of something that kind of stemmed from your personal testimony. Why don't you share that with us?
Absolutely. I struggled with anorexia from the time that I was in high school, mostly through my senior year. And I really didn't have much treatment. At that time, there wasn't a whole lot of treatment in the state of Indiana, much less anywhere else, and mostly worked with a physician that was just kind of helping monitor from a physical standpoint. But as I went off to college, which is a time that many women have a higher onset, a lot of more freedom, a lot more stress and pressures and things like that, my eating disorder just kind of spiraled. And I ended up with kidney failure and ended up in a medical crisis, which got me into a hospital, which then kind of led me into seeking the treatment that really no one else kind of knew what to do. And at that point, for me, I had a physician who really was near and dear to my heart, who didn't know what to do to help me with my eating disorder, hadn't had a lot of experience himself, asked if he could pray with me, and in doing that, really began my journey into trying to seek out what that recovery would mean, and began doing then also therapy along with nutrition and seeing my physician, and began that healing process. And so along that journey felt for me a real desire to want to help other people. Continued in school in the field of art therapy. And when I first got out of school, was not directly working with eating disorders, but was working in chemical dependency, and just wasn't feeling that was my passion, and wasn't connecting with that population. And again, a mentor said, you know, what is it? What's your story? Where have you felt broken? And in sharing that at that time, really felt like God said, that's what you're supposed to be doing. So sought further certification and specialization in that, and worked in outpatient therapy for a long time with that, and felt really alive when I was doing that and sharing my woundedness and how I had healed through lots of different people, really having personal relationships with me, not just people that knew what they were doing, but people who cared about me. And so with that, was finding lots of women that were getting sicker and sicker and needing residential and having to send them states and states away, which was really hard because they need family components of that, and the families would be in Indiana and the loved one would be in Arizona or other states. And so at that time really felt a calling again that God had said, there needs to be a residential center in Indiana. And
that's where Selah House came from.
That's where Selah House came from. I remember going, oh, how do I do that? I'm just a single individual. And but we began I had a group of people I was already working with, psychiatrist and dietitian and other therapists, and we all kind of took up on that mission, and with that started having meetings and had prayer meetings about that, and people coming, and had two gentlemen step up that just also felt that they wanted to be in women's ministries. And so out of that came Selah, which is a Christ-centered treatment facility for women, adult women 18 and over that are seeking treatment for an eating disorder.
Well, your story is kind of representative of the whole. We've seen eating disorders go from something that wasn't even acknowledged to something that is at least recognized, and now specialized treatment.
Yes.
What does Selah House offer that distinguishes you as far as a service provider, and gives people maybe more than what a local physician can do or something?
Absolutely. Well, again, we take it from that whole approach of it's specifically for women with eating disorders. A lot of times back when I was seeking treatment, you could have be in a hospital that was treating a little bit of everything. You might be with people that were depressed and people that were dealing with other mental illnesses, where at Selah House, your primary diagnosis is anorexia, bulimia, or eating disorder, not otherwise specified. Along with that, we treat the nutritional by refeeding them, or treating, having set meal times and teaching them healthy eating patterns. We have the physical, we're monitoring them medically. We have lots of different therapy components and experiential therapy to deal with the body image work and the underlying emotional things as to why that they're doing what they're doing to their body. And then also for us, really importantly, is treating them from that spiritual standpoint and finding out where it is that they've become broken in that as well. So it's that holistic point of treating it that really sets it aside as specialty. And about over 50% of our staff is recovered. So we also share our own journeys and offer that as hope for women who some have had it for 30 some years and just don't see the way out and have never met anyone that's come out of it. So
yeah, a really unique ministry. Why don't you tell us in about 30 seconds or less, people who are struggling with this and looking for help? I mean, what programs do you offer besides the live-in residency program? What else is there?
Absolutely. The first step for anyone who's like, I think I have a problem, even just disordered eating, I don't know if it's eating disorder, is to have an assessment so that we can help them as people who specialize in that to determine what level of care they need. And we offer outpatient therapy. We also offer intensive outpatient, which is 3 days a week with a nutritional component as well, and then just general once a week outpatient. We also have psychiatric care, which they can get assessed for medication needs if needed.
Okay, great. Well, you know, the unique thing about Selah House is that it is a faith-based ministry, and you deal with the heart, not just the outward appearance, and so I think that's really an important aspect. And it's something that we've talked about today has struck a nerve with you. We invite you to check out the Selah House website. There you can find lots of information about the ministry of Selah House, as well as some helpful resources for friends and family. The website is www.selahhouse.net. And as they say on the website, Selah House is a place to walk into freedom, and we hope that if you or someone you know is struggling with this issue, that you'll at least take this first step of educating yourself.
Misty Rees from Selah House, thanks so much for being with us. Bless you in the work that you're doing. It's an important kind of new pathway you're forging.
It is.